No, it's all right. I'm fine. So it's in the church Bibles on page 1145, 1 Corinthians 2, verses 6 to 16. We do, however, speak a message of wisdom among the mature, but not the wisdom of this age or of the rulers of this age who are coming to rest. The wisdom of this age, of the rulers of this age who are coming to judgment. No, we declare that's God's mystery that has been hidden and that God destined for our glory before time began. None of the rulers of this age understood it, for if they had, they would not have crucified the Lord of glory. However, as it is written, what no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, and what no human mind has conceived, the things God has prepared for those who love him. These are the things God has revealed to us by his Spirit. The Spirit searches all things, even the deep things of God. For who knows a person's thoughts except their own spirit within them? In the same way, no one knows the thoughts of God except the Spirit of God. What we have received is not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit who is from God, so that we may understand what God has freely given us. This is what we speak, not in words taught to us by human wisdom, but in words taught by the Spirit, explaining spiritual realities with Spirit-taught words. The person without the Spirit does not accept these things that come from the Spirit of God, but considers them foolish and cannot understand them because they are discerned only through the Spirit. The person with the Spirit makes judgment about all things, but such as a person is not subject to merely human judgments. For who has the mind of the Lord so as to instruct him? But we have the mind of Christ.
Test. Yay. Thank you. It makes you wonder how many people are like, oh, just let her. Just leave us. Oh, okay. It wasn't bellowing. It wasn't my usual tone. Okay, Corinth was a Greek city. It was a port. It was a hub of activity, of culture, of religion, of language. It was like London is today or any major city today, when you had multiple religions, beliefs, everything going on. Plus, you had these newfangled people that were speaking, and they were people that heard of people like Aristotle and were followers of him and his teachings, of Plato's teachings. This was all new thought. So you're in a city with all of this going on. Weird worship going on. And it is just amazing. And there's I can't remember her first name, but her last name is Rivers. She's written a series of novels. Pardon? Frances Rivers. And the I've read and she's got this trilogy. Yeah, yes, Uche. And there is like a chapter where she beautifully describes Corinth, because in the story, our protagonist is going to Corinth, and they talk about it, and it is fabulous, and it is frankly correct, the way the description of what life is like in Corinth. So think of everything that's a bit, it is just amazing. Anyway, there is a new church that has risen up in the midst of all of this. And so these are Paul's letters to them. And again, with the other writings that Paul has to those that he's leading and also to churches, we can only guess. I don't like saying guess, but we can only guess what they had said to him for him to reply in this way. So we're only hearing one half of the conversation. We are going to be going through the whole book, okay? So I find it wonderful and fascinating that Paul starts the letter. He starts it with greetings and thanksgiving. But then he starts, and we're looking at wisdom. And I think it is wonderful because wisdom, Paul challenges us to pursue wisdom so that we can understand the rest of what he has written. He didn't put wisdom at the end. He didn't put it as a footnote or anything. He put it right here as a passage in this letter that we can really grapple with and seek wisdom as we hear the rest of what he has said. This passage is convoluted, but then I had an idea to use it as a basis, and then I've written a short story which I think breaks down wisdom, okay? So I shall read it, and then we'll see what happens. And I hope you understand where I'm coming from as I go through. Okay. There was a young man named Aloysius. He was a big man, just over 6 foot tall and muscular like a rugby player, not that he played. He was an engineer and worked in research and development of water sourcing, irrigation, and infrastructure redevelopment in formerly war-torn regions. He was a man of faith, but was very private about his beliefs. His current project of nearly 18 months was coming to a close. He and his team, plus many of the local people, had worked together to reinstall running water to their community. There would be a celebration to mark the completion of this work, yet some villagers were very bitter about the colonial saviors and what they had done and what they thought they owed them. The infrastructure was made up of a pumping station that was in turn connected to a reservoir 5 miles from the community. The pumping station provided water to all the homes in that community. The work included connecting the homes to the pumping station and in turn digging a pipeline to the reservoir. There was also a solar-powered pump, and everything was run by the touch of one button. It was upsetting for Aloysius to hear all the gripes. Initially, he was furious and at the ungrateful comments. I've come here for 18 months away from my family to do this for you, and this is how I am treated. I can't wait to get out of here. In a satellite call to his wife, Desdemona, he shared his frustration, the locals' lack of appreciation and his desire to return home. His wife listened and asked a question. Who does it belong to? Is it your system or the community's? Aloysius was shocked at the question. Of course it's theirs. I made it for them. Sometime later in his room, Aloysius reconsidered his answer to his wife's question. He was annoyed and struggled to find words to fully express how he felt. He hadn't done this in a long time, but he found himself praying. His mind was awash with blueprints, contracts, timetables, complaints, going home, and finally, how dare they attack my pump house? That was the truth he needed to get to. The system was his. How can this community progress if it believes it has a debt to the outsiders? Who could return and take it all away? All that night, he redesigned the system. He redesigned the electronics and other systems to make them appropriate to the region. The changes caused a 2-week delay on his return home, but it also allowed for the locals in the community to be fully trained on the system and how to replace parts without outside intervention. It was up to the community to keep the system running. It was theirs now. I wrote that story as I looked through the passage, because understanding wisdom is actually a little complicated. But then I fell on this image and I built this. So here we go. Okay. Wisdom is the interconnection of various elements. Firstly, starts with God. Everything starts with God. He is our creator. He is our substance. He is our first point of connection. Next is humility. We have to recognize that we don't have all the answers, that we don't know everything, that we can't know everything. When we look at the people of Corinth, and especially a lot of the new philosophers and their teachings, there was pride in what they had discovered. There was pride in their new thoughts, in their new theories and ideas. But with God, if you're in him, he makes the last word. He takes the last word. Experience. What we go through in life teaches us just as much as the last one, education and being teachable. Education, it could mean academia, but it's not limited to that. My biggest hobby, which I haven't done in a long time, is pottery. And pottery has become academic. But pottery is thousands of years old, and you learn by doing. You can go anywhere in the world and you will find ceramic fragments. And it's all to do with how you're trained. And if you're teachable, are you willing to learn? So having an education, yes, you can go and get a degree and all these other different kinds of things, but don't be limited by thinking, well, I can't do anything because I can't go to school. No, you can learn just by listening to the elders in church, if I can put it that way. I don't mean that in a negative way, but they've been here longer. They know more than we do. You know, and it's just fun to sit in their presence and let them explain. The point is your attitude of heart teachable? And then wisdom grows from all these elements. When Paul is writing here about wisdom, he's encouraging us to look to God and to acknowledge the Spirit of God, how it works in our hearts, how it works in our lives, and to be taught and to learn and to grow and to take on what is going to be coming in the rest of this letter. It's important for us to consider what we're going to be going through in the next few weeks, but also not in this, in life in general. We need to be wise when we're online. We need to be wise when we're in business transactions. We need to be wise when we're meeting people that we haven't met before, or in difficult situations, or... Pardon? Oh, that was Daniel. Or we're in situations that we haven't been in before. We need to be wise. We need to be aware of what's going on. We need to be aware of the situation. Sometimes it doesn't matter what you know. The wise thing may be just to hold their hand. A lovely phrase, I'm sure many of you know. I heard it when I was in Youth with a Mission years ago. And it was Floyd McClung. I'm sure somebody else said it, but he said it at this particular session. And he said, people don't care what they know until they know how much you care. That's the issue. That's wisdom. And for all of us, it's not necessarily about what we know and how we can articulate something. Sometimes it's simply whether we should speak at all. So we are actually going to have an extended time of worship now. I know I've kept this short. We are, aren't we? Really? Okay. No, we're not. Pardon? That, oh, really? I saw it in the, sorry. I'm just changing what I'm, sorry, Claire. Huh? My fault entirely. I do apologize. I had made a complete mistake. I deliberately, because I thought that we are. I am so sorry, Claire. My error. Every now and again. I do apologize, everyone. I completely misunderstood some instruction and deliberately kept my message short because I thought that this was short and then we were carrying on. Anyway, to close, I will say this, that as believers, as we grow in wisdom, it means a greater dependency on the Lord, a greater dependency on the Spirit as He speaks to us and teaches us and guides us and directs us and allows us to respond in a way that honors Him, that allows us to understand what's happening in our world and to respond to it appropriately. One of the things that has struck me recently, I have got a lot of American friends. And if you know what's happening in America with politics at the moment, I'm not being political. It is an observation of Christian friends and the comments that they're making to me online. And the challenge is to hear what they're saying and balance it with what Scripture is saying, and not to simply assume something because you hear it. Paul is saying that to the Corinthian church, and it will become more evident as we go through it with questions that they're asking and attitudes, etc., that are becoming apparent to Paul because they are not considering fully. So the challenge for us all the time is to be wise with what we read, what we take in, and what we allow others to say to us. And that to be connected with God makes all of this happen. One song that we did start with, can I mess up things as well? As I've started, I'll mess up everything. God, I look to you. If we can do that again at some point. Finish with God, I look to you. Because that is where our help comes from. We can't do anything without him. And only with him will we be able to get anything right. And I will now go and I've made a mistake. I, again, regret it terribly. I do apologize. But every day is a learning day. So take it away, guys. I apologize. Let us just press into him. It's the Lord that teaches. It's the Lord that corrects, that guides, and that helps us learn and move on and grow. And it is only with him that we can do this.